Here we are again, Seekers, for another spoiler season for Malediction. Be very much welcome to this new video where we are going to cover 4 new cards that have been released by Loot Studios. Before we start, I would like to thank you for all the feedback I have been receiving from the community. It really helps me to keep going with these videos. And without further ado, be welcome and let's check our new spoilers. And you know the drill. If it's one of the first times you have been here on the channel, just take the time, subscribe to the channel, like this video. The first card we have here is Triple True. I have no doubt that's one of the strongest spells in the set. It not only gives you a free shift, it means that you can trace a straight line and you move without provoking retaliation. And after you do that, you deal 3 damage to every single enemy unit in its path. Be aware that you have to pass through the unit. You cannot just touch bases with it, okay? You have to really go after the unit's base with your movement so you can deal the 3 damage. Besides that, by casting the spell, if you are playing with Liana, which you must because it's a card specific, you also trigger her legacy that gives you spell strike. So you cast the spell, already do damage to 1 or more units, and all your following attacks will deal 1 more damage thanks to Spell Strike. That's a great spell, high synergy for Liana, and one of my favorite uses with this spell is with the Virtan Battlecaster, because first, it already has Spell Strike, but Liana's Legacy says that you can improve the Spell Strike. So you cast 1 spell and you're gonna do 2 extra damage on each of your attacks. And Virtan also has the Empower spell. So instead of dealing 3 damage to every single enemy you pass through your movement, you will do 4 damage. So it's a high synergy, you can really explode things with just 6 Echo Elite unit with a potential of 4 damage during the spell, you reposition yourself, and then you're gonna strike for 6/4 damage thanks to Spell Strike 2. That's really very strong. And not satisfied with that, if you use this spell on Liana, you are going to have 2 units making 1 movement, dealing damage to your enemies, and then you can make your 3 strikes. It's honestly, I don't know how we approved this spell, but it is very strong. I love it, and every time I can play it with Battlecaster, I do, because trust me, it's worth it. Next is the Woolcaster Shaman. It has a very good set of stats, and if you are going to play with Liana, it is going to do 5/3 damage when you cast spells because of Spell Strike. So that's basically a elite tier of damage. And for range, might not seem much, but it's the difference of needing to spend 1 AP moving to engage a unit, or just snapping 2 shots away. And if you grab one of the relics that gives you extra range, it can reach 10 range, which is amazing, right? 7 movement for me is the most important part of this card, because we can have a unit that has a high synergy with spells and a very decent movement to grab the relic or reposition itself. 11 defense is not that much, in 14 health neither, but for our 6 Echo Elite unit, overall I think that's a very decent one. And Witchcraft, it's basically an improved spell power. It does 1 extra damage as usual, but if you are with half your life or lower, it deals 1 extra damage. Basically, you want this guy to be casting your damage dealing spells, like for example Triple 2 that we just discussed, because then you're gonna manage maybe to do 2 extra damage to more units. On Liana's deck, if you are going to cast Twin Flames, maybe, for 4 damage on 2 units, that sounds like a very good idea, right? But overall, I don't think that's a fantastic unit, but it is, of course, a strong one, especially due to its damage, movement, and range. Witchcraft is a great spell, or a great ability, but will more likely be used on Ingor and Liana. I don't see how, for example, Thunderstaps, Auric, or any other of the Primal Seekers are going to take more advantage from Witchcraft. So overall, it's a very good unit. Not the best one for the set, that's for sure, but definitely one worth looking at. Now we have Pact of the Minds. Remember what I said about Trample Through being one of the strongest spells? It's because of Pact of the Minds, that's for sure. This spell basically, you sacrifice one of your units to kill an enemy unit of the same rank. It is very important to read the card because it is a unique spell, so you cannot replicate it with Ring of Time, for example, and it cannot defeat a Seeker. For pretty much every single Legion deck, you will have those Stitched Corpse or similar that you don't care if that's its job, right? So Pact of the Minds makes you take the most advantage of those units. Stitched Corpse, for example, that we are talking about, can hit very hard if it's already engaged with an enemy and you have another unit engaged to it. So activate, double strike, sacrifice it, and kill another basic unit. That's just the prime activation that you can have with such a unit, right? And if you are playing with Risa, you can do that with any of your spirits, because then they will still get the extra attack from the legacy. Not extra attack, extra 2 AP action. So you can charge, you can move, you can do whatever, right? So Pact of the Minds, of course, you don't always want to be willingly on your activation giving mastery to your opponent. But sometimes you can do a very good trade, like 2 units for 1 of yours against your opponent, because you're usually gonna have one of your units that's about to die or in a tight spot, and you can swing the tides with Pact of the Minds and maybe make your opponent drop a relic, so you can collect it later, just to diminish its mastery points, right? So Pact of the Minds, it's a removal spell, the only removal spell in the game that you can simply kill straightforward, regardless of its life, one of your enemy units. I'm confident that every single Legion deck will use Pact of the Minds the same way they should use an Unmade, for example. It's a very strong spell, you just remove annoying unit from the battlefield and life goes on. And like I said, Legion decks often have units you want to die, and Grisa has a specific one that you surely want it to die. Tragedy of the Greed. It's a spirit unit, doesn't have much accuracy, but for a basic unit has a high damage, move 6, which is great, and still has 8 life, which is quite a lot because you can prevent it from dying on a single enemy activation, which is great. So just because of that, it would already be a very good unit. Being a spirit, synergize of course with Grisa, because then when it dies, you can still make a 2 AP action, and it has Jinx. That's a new ability for its set. When the unit is defeated, each opponent discards a card. It's very cool that's each opponent, because if you are playing 2 against 2 or 3-for-all game, every opponent will discard a card, so you take more advantage from its ability. But if you are playing the standard game, it's still good because, like I said in the past, you can activate it, make 2 strikes, charge or whatever, sacrifice, for example, with Corpse Explosion, dealing another 3 area damage to your opponents, and then spend the 2 AP that Grisa gives when a unit dies to make a charge or another hit, while making your opponent discard a card. So you can understand how this card synergizes well with everything that's being built with Grisa, right? And that's much more to come. I hope you guys have been tuned to all my videos, because we still have lots of spoilers to bring you guys, and I gotta say, I was anxious to release these 2 final Seekers so we can complete all 10 initial Seekers, and they bring several very cool cards that will have huge impact on the meta and on the previous Seekers, all the decks we have been seeing here. So that's all for today, folks. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you disagree or if you have a complimentary opinion, please leave a comment below. I really like to read what you guys think about the videos I bring you, and it will be a pleasure to play a game with you guys anytime on Discord. Just ping me there, okay? See you next time, in a couple weeks maybe, for more spoilers.